Hello, welcome to Self-Image Talk Series. Self-Image is a platform where we serve people with their mental health challenges like counseling services or different workshops, and we talk to different experts. And today in this workshop, we have Dr. Ratnakirti Roy. Dr. Roy is head of the department in the Department of MCA at Acharya Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He has done his PhD from National Institute of Technology, Durgapur, specializing in information security. Also, he has an illustrious academic and research career of 14 years. And he has published in more than 25 reputed international journals and conferences. Also, he has authored a number of monographs and edited research books. Also, he has served as reviewers for different prestigious journals. He has also contributed to a career column in leading Bengali dailies. And obviously, as a colleague, I have worked for almost 2 years in a time, and I have seen his passion for teaching and interacting with students. And not only that, he is also a lover of. He loves to travel and do photography. So, Dr. Roy, welcome to Self-Image Talk Series. It's an
Thank
immense
you so much,
pleasure.
Mr. Shaw. I believe I'm audible.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's an immense pleasure to address few mental health, not only mental health challenges, different academic aspects among students. So as you have spent more than 14 years in this field, not only as a teacher or faculty, but also you have spent so many years as a student uh, of computer science or computer application. The first thing which comes in my mind, there is a huge revolution in technology, right? But keeping this technological revolution, what do you think? What are the aspects students should focus when they are choosing their career, uh, be it engineering, be it science, be it any field?
Yeah, very relevant. Post-COVID, like in 2020, like after the COVID waves were over, there has been a really great transformation in the field of education as well. Things have changed. For example, when I remember when we used to be students in the schools and colleges and the universities and the later on, our mindset, our goal setting was entirely different. COVID has told people how uncertain life can be, and particularly the students of this generation, those people born between this 99 to 2012, which we refer as Gen Z. Okay, so they have been greatly affected by COVID, if not by health, but as well as comes to the psychology behind choosing a career or doing anything else. Now, as my experience goes with the students, uh, previous to COVID and post COVID also, what I notice is there has been some positive changes, and at the same time there has been some reasons to worry. For example, uh, students now, in many cases, do not have a clarity on what they want to achieve. Now, during the COVID, they had been at home for a long time. The only friend they were totally having is the phone.
Yes,
So
yes.
the apps, Instagram, TikTok, which kept them engaged, possibly distracted them from actually being able to set a goal. So what I understand is the problem which I find very relevant for the students now is the lack of ability to concentrate.
Yeah.
That has been a very say significant observation which I have seen in this last 4 years post COVID. That I understand that students are into content which is around say 10 seconds long, 15 seconds long. Anything longer than that becomes very tiring for their
True,
brains set up to adapt.
true.
Now, if you come to choice of the career, the students are still, in many cases, I will not generalize, but in most cases, they are still stuck between two different worlds. One world in which their parents belong, and a world in which they belong. So there is a very big gap between the two in terms of understanding. So, for example, the parents still want their children to opt for the general courses like engineering or medical as preferred streams of careers, primarily because those are proven fields which has more or less acceptable, say, employment and at least the scope of sustainability. But students now are very, say, they are divided among the students. I've been teaching computer science over here also with both in UG engineering courses as well as postgraduate computer application courses. So what I find in common is a lion's share of students are very confused about why they are there. So that is the one point I would like to start off with the discussion, that if you ask me what a student should basically think about,
Yes,
they
yes.
should first have a goal.
Yeah.
So getting into a course is no longer a problem because you got
Sorry, I'm
yeah,
stopping over here for
yeah.
1 minute. And not only over there, I'm also right now in a IIT. I'm associated with one IIT. There also, I have seen people are really confused after joining IIT. Ki, why I've joined this course and what is the purpose? Yeah, that thing also I have seen over here. Please continue.
So, so what I understand from this point is, so if you go to the IITs, so they are the cream. So
Mhm.
basically, the best brains go there. Now you can imagine that if the best brains are confused that after clearing a tough exam of the say IIT joint and getting to the JEE mains and getting into an IIT, then also they are not really sure about why they have opted for the course. So it's some, so you can imagine what problem there might be for the tier 2 and tier 3 colleges when it comes to the students over there. So I believe goal setting for a career. A few days back, I was talking to a gentleman who was who is from Germany. So I had a talk of how education system basically is, how things work that way. So I came across something very interesting, that they do students profiling right from the schools.
Okay.
Basically, the right from the primary age, like from class 4 or 5th standard equivalent in our country, they
Mhm.
start profiling the children according to their interests. That what happens in our case is there is no profiling. So I belong to a very say common Bengali family, and I believe you will be also knowing it.
Yes,
When
yes,
we were
yes,
young, there was a trend that every Bengali girl would be say practicing songs. They would know how to sing. So
yes.
those were trends. So what happened was the profiling, which was actually to be done, was never there. So this is a big problem that our students and children face, primarily because of the societal setup that we have. So over there, the advantage becomes that the students are profiled according to their say interests. So whatever career, whatever profession they take up later on does not become a burden to them.
And you're saying that
So
thing should start from like a school level.
yes, exactly. So instead of pushing everybody towards a single direction, or for example, this another thing has come up very recently. I see, since I deal with these people who are active on Instagram and all,
Hmm.
I too keep myself active to understand what things are going on, what inputs my students are basically getting. So what I understand is, for the last 3 4 years, what I understand, talent and capability has been limited to only people with some knowledge of performing arts. So if you are not singing or if you are not dancing, maybe anything else if you are capable of doing is not really considered to be a talent, and it doesn't pull the crowd. So what happens is, this is another problem that we have. So if I take it from the say we get the students either after 12 years of the completion of their courses in the schools, or after say they have completed the graduation. So we already have a material in hand which is partially cooked. So we really do not have a very large scope of say modulating and demodulating and restructuring the wiring of the brains of the students. But if I go to the primary level in the schools, they have a bigger responsibility at hand to profile the students according to their interests.
Do
So
you think
when a
somehow,
student, yeah.
yeah, somehow societal acceptance, as you said, you like in Instagram or any social media platform, people are doing what people other will accept or will like. So do you think that talents are like in actually in which field they can do better? Instead of doing that thing, they are like taking decision about their career based on the societal acceptance and how society talks about that thing.
Yes, in many cases, this is happening. This is actually happening. So I have come across students who have openly told me that they do not want to pursue this course. And they are pursuing because they do not really understand what
Yes,
else
yes,
they can actually do. So the students have told me directly, sir, I don't want. I'm not interested in computer science. I don't like data structures. I don't like programming. I don't like building websites or apps. I
true,
like
true, true.
something else. Possibly I like drawing. I like painting. But I did not know what to do with it.
Mm.
This has a job scope. I need to earn money sometime. So I joined it. So now it's the pressure. So if you go by the say even the IITs, if you go, the placement rates are not very promising even for the
True.
IITs for the last year.
That's true.
It's not about the crunch in the jobs. Jobs are there, but the intention or the willingness of the student or a person to really work for an IT company. So if I'm taking mine, I believe the same happens in other core areas of engineering as well. For example, if you see the trend now is this computer science, this AI and all have come in, and a lot
Right.
of things are yet to be done, a lot of scope is there. People are not opting for the core disciplines like mechanical and civil. So everybody wants a civil engineering course, everybody wants to take up a computer science course because it has got possible employment. But at the same time, at this point of time, we need more people from the core. We need more people in engineering. We need people who are good civil engineers. We need people who are good mechanical engineers. So there has been a need there, but post COVID, these things have changed. But at the same time, there is a bright side also. Students are now opting for different courses, unconventional courses. You won't find a whole big number going in there, but at least you'll find some people taking that risk and pursuing the course which they basically like. So what I understand of the Gen Z is very different from the generation, possibly one generation before. So what is uh, they are they want to be happy. So and this happiness is like they want happiness to persist.
Right.
So they are not into effort because of the fact a few days back in LinkedIn, possibly, I was hearing somebody talking that now the industry should also try shaping up according to the say change in the mental shift that has happened to the young generation now. It's like now when we were thinking about our career, we thought about sustainability, that how would we sustain ourselves, primarily because of the fact that many of us were brought up by parents who had put in a lot of efforts to just to make sure that okay we get the education we want, but they could not provide us with luxury. So sustainability and growing over that was a point for us.
True.
For these kids today, if I take the example of a city like Bangalore, most of the parents are well to do, so they have already offered their children with all the luxury and the good things in life. So that is not, so sustainability is no longer a say goal for the students now. So they and I know you have been long working on this happiness thing when it comes to evaluation.
Right,
So
right,
so students only don't know what will make them happy, and the technological distractions at every point of
yeah,
time. Sometimes they think dancing might make them happy. Sometimes they think more followers on Instagram might make them happy. So this distraction and this confusion of what to choose and how to, and nobody really to guide them, and this is primarily
that is
because,
another thing.
yeah,
That is, yeah, that is
primarily
another thing.
because so I understood that day the gentleman was talking to me from that this profiling is done at a very young age over there.
Hmm.
So I found it really, so it is a very good thing. So at least you know people are going to do what they actually like. So at least to some extent, the students or whoever gets into this thing would find some bit of happiness in whatever they are doing, and may not have to resort to say unhappy feelings when it comes to work. So I was talking to one of my ex students previously. She is an employee in the IT sector now. So I understand that this generation, that this age group of who are in the age for 20 to 25 now, this generation is very focused on one thing. They lack focus on possibly what to do and how to do, but they are very focused on that. I'll not take a load. So I'm mentioning this word load instead of pressure. So that's a student was she was frustrated on because she was made to repeat a few like reports multiple times. She was like, I had so many plans in my weekend and all. I had to spend my weekend over there, and they are not satisfied. So I was contrasting with the say with my friends and myself and possibly everyone who belong to this generation who are we are all 35 plus now. Okay, so we didn't really take that as a problem, uh,
We
primarily
take,
because we
we
had less.
always took as a part of the job.
Yeah, I we knew that we had to do it. So what is to
Yes,
be
yes,
done is to
yes,
be done.
yes.
So we did not take it as a problem. But
Right.
now what happens? Their priorities are very different. Our priorities were very different. So maybe 5 years say back, I would have scolded that student, telling that okay, this isn't correct. You should be doing like this. But now I understand that their priorities, their mental setup is very different. So, if you ask me that what is your opinion on what a student should do while he chooses his career, so I think an early profiling during the school days will be very, very helpful to at least choose the direction of where he lands himself up. So that
And
is one thing.
the support, yeah, support from the parents, also schools, and support
Yes,
from the parents. Another
support
thing
from the
you all,
parents is very necessary.
right,
Very, very.
because all the school will do something, but if they will not get any support from the parent, that will not work for them. Another thing,
Right.
like in this era of automation, like chat gpt, like OpenAI, and so many automation tool are there, so many automation is happening, industries talking about automation, reputed institutions are talking about automation. Do you think this craze of automation, or in this era of automation, students or people are actually, their creative thinking are affecting? For example,
Yes.
if students are given any project or something, or some kind of task, so they different, obviously they will go to chat gpt and search something and they will make it. So what is your opinion? Do you think these are affecting their creative thinking in some extent?
Yes. So there are certain things I would like to put in over here. Automation is important. So if
Mm.
I take from the context of education and anything, automation is important. For example, uh, anything which is repetitive. For example, for which I once went through this work matrix they use in management, that we can classify work according to certain categories. Like we have work which is urgent but not important, or
Yeah, yeah,
important
yeah,
but
yeah.
not urgent. So if we go through that, there are a lot of work which might be urgent but not important, and at the same time maybe not urgent and not important at the same time, but needs to be done. For
Mm,
example, if I have to write a formal application, and I might know how to write, but I don't want to spend my 15 minutes on that, or 20 minutes on shaping and doing the same application, or rather I want to fast track it and put my focus into something more important. I might take the help of ChatGPT and get it done. But when it comes to projects and where you need to apply creativity, or you have to think out of the box to get a solution, the problem becomes that students are now taking up for instant solutions.
yes.
Now, so that is a contrast and a problem at the same time, because at that point, at the age of 20 or 21, an undergraduate final year student of B, he is supposed to, or he is expected to, say, ponder and think over new solutions, provide better insights and everything, and then build a project which might be might help people out or might contribute to the field itself. So that is how things are supposed to be, or rather is expected to be out of a. So we now have this OBE. So this, after this NEP, we have this say outcome based education. So one outcome for every course that we undergo, maybe UG or a
Mm,
PG, will
mm-hmm.
always become that, okay, I need some quantifiable outcome out of this.
Mm,
Projects find say a very important role into that. Now
right.
the problem is from the teaching end.
Mm-hmm.
From the teaching end, I believe firmly that an awareness of what AI should be used for and what AI should not be used for must be made very clear.
Very important
So
point. Yes, yes.
it should be made very clear. For example, if I tell a student that you can take help of AI to draft your synopsis, but you cannot take, should not take the help of AI to write your codes. So that might help a student to understand the difference, that what am I expecting. Now you can be that if I give straight away things, so they will take help of AI. Now this concept of AI and this automation that actually works, this large language models, for example chat GPT, if I take, so the working of this very thing is not really aware to many people. So most people think that ChatGPT creates content of its own, which is not true. It basically, say, goes through the content which is available on the internet
Yes, yes, yes.
and takes it, frames it, restructures it according to certain acceptable models and presents it to you. It does not add creativity.
So many people
Creativity
have
is
that,
unique
yeah,
to human
misconception.
intelligence.
Misconception, right?
So creativity is unique to human intelligence.
Yes.
So, so when it comes to automation, I will not directly oppose automation, because I know from a teaching perspective also, teaching point also, I might use automation to say dig out content from the internet which I don't want to type on my own or find on my own.
Mm.
So it makes my making a presentation much easier. But what I deliver out of the presentation, that should be mine.
Means you're, yeah,
So
yeah, that is a good point. You're talking
yes,
about the priority, that
yes,
the
I
time
should
matrix.
understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
time management
So
matrix you have talked about. That yeah, true.
yes,
The priority of my work and relevancy. And another thing I which I think I have got this message like if I will let technology to control me, that is a very tedious task. If I control technology to use purposefully, that will be very wise decision, I think.
right, right. So an awareness should be created among the students. See, when we are supposed to work on a new software, we have a demo. We have a demonstration of how exactly we have an SOP. So similarly, when we teach students or expose them to this LLMs, the Chat
Mm.
GPT and all, when they ask everything to be done, so it is very important that we create this awareness then where should I not be doing? For example, one very creative way of doing it is not to make them answer assignments which are direct. Rather, it is better you ask them solve things on a scenario basis.
Hmm.
You give them a scenario where they have to take in whatever they have learned and put into a solution. Whether they have to, they will be rather forced to use their, say, cognitive thinking
Yeah.
rather than just the type the same into AI or just get the things done. So AI is suppose I
Yeah.
remember this movie Three Idiots. I remember that when this Ranchor Das was asked that what is a machine, he basically told that anything that eases human effort is a machine.
Hmm.
So we should remember that at least, that we should only use AI from a machine to ease human effort, and human effort comes with a tag of priority. So we put effort on what we think as priority. So an awareness of what should be the priority is required. So
True.
if the
True.
students know, if an UG students understands that I have to solve scenarios in my life, and it is not a ready-made solution but something I have to think over, then possibly if the student uses chat gpt to create his report, that's fine, let him do it. But the core content, the codes, the interfaces, that has to be his own. That has to be his brainchild. So this is what I have been perceiving, like
Yes, yes, yes.
experimenting and
Very,
perceiving over the time.
very relevant. Another thing, like as a counselor or as a psychologist, I used to get this kind of like problem from the parents, mobile addiction or screen addiction or digital distraction. Okay, so digital distraction, users of technology, all those technologies have different benefits in our life. So how do you like suggest students or the people to use this technology wisely? Although you have covered different things, and specifically with respect to digital distraction or mobile addiction. So, what is your opinion? What, how do
So
you suggest them?
yes, so this mobile addiction is one of the big problems we are solving, we are facing every day. So in my current institution itself, there has been a phenomenon where the students are so addicted to gaming that they are possibly not being able to concentrate on studies. So they have been addicted to gaming. They have been addicted to this Instagram and all. One very important is the role of parents. Our generation has one very important role to play. That we have experienced all, say, stages. Like we lived in a time when technology was not into its full bloom. So we have lived a life without technology.
Yes, yes.
So we have adapted to technology as well. So we know the survival basics. So with those fundas are clear with us. So all teachers or all parents who belong to our generation can definitely trigger make them aware that having this mobile phone and getting the content out of there is not the sole purpose.
True.
One thing has gone down in the past few years is the habit of scrolling. So parents also, in many cases, I see that they also don't want to put their children on mobile phone. Sadly, but it's a truth that for many parents it becomes a cumbersome job to control their children. So what they do is, say, sometimes they mute the mobile, or they are giving simply the mobile to play games to the child so that the child keeps quiet. So a few months back, I was talking to somebody who is in the field of psychology themselves. So she told me one something very interesting. That she told that like parents should create the environment for a child, irrespective of anything they have to do. If it requires sacrifice, even they have to create the environment of the child so the child feels safe and secure. And
Completely
this
agreed. Complete. Yes, yes. The training usually starts from them.
yes.
Completely.
So what happens is the parents are not really giving time to their children. So what would the children do? somewhere
Mm.
to rest, somewhere to bank on. And this device, this mobile device, has become their friend.
Right, right, right.
So I firmly believe that if parents and at the same time children who are away from home, their teachers, their mentors, very significant role in shaping the mental setup of a student, that a student feels more comfortable with physical, say, spending their time on virtual communication over the mobile phone. I remember when we were, say, in the same institute during
Right.
the 2017-18. One of our colleagues was Mr. Deep Jyoti, if you remember.
Yes, yes, yes.
He was there. He is unfortunately no more. So we had done a students for a research paper.
Mm.
So that survey, most of the students, mostly girls, are more happier communicating on the social media platform.
Mm.
Than,
Mhm.
so it came up as an says, survey input. So teachers have this role of at least guiding students or children to make sure that they are available, so that if a student or a child knows that there is a human being available for him all the time, only the need to seek help and validation from, I mentioned this particular term validation very enforcedly,
True.
one area which basically all the social media platform are using. So they're creating this artificial fear of. So if I take this FOMO syndrome
Yes,
into
yes.
the.
Fear of missing out is actually
Yes,
directing people, their decision, their addiction
yes,
towards this, technology like that.
and yes, and this social media and this apps, they know that this will happen, and really cash on. So what happens is this need for extra becomes a problem. So this training should be done from the. It should continue in the school and should continue till they. Then possibly by the
That
age of.
should begins from home. Yeah, really. From
Yes.
their childhood,
So
early childhood.
yes. So parents are not really able to provide this kind of guidance and everything. The school and the college, the teachers. So at least to make sure that they can help them, like hammer them with the thing that this, if you really want a help, you come to me. You
Hmm.
come to a human.
Right,
You come
right.
to a human and
Right.
not to a machine. This is my perception of what basically things are. So digital distraction is it has become like a disease now. It has become like a disease. Like 50 minutes of a class, I have observed to remain without a mobile phone. So 50 minutes, if you ask them that you don't touch your mobile phone, so it's like putting them in a, and
Right.
yes. So I have seen this. I have experienced this, that students are like last 10 minutes will be over, and when I'll be putting taking out my phone from my pocket. So this is what we are doing. We are enforcing a strict vigilance that will not use the phone in the class. But this actually doesn't really work. It works for that 50 minutes possibly, but it doesn't really work in the, say, in the long run. So I think as a remedial measure,
Hmm.
so reading books is very, very important.
Yes, yes, true.
Reading books is important. Say say what to say, encouraging students and children to read books no matter how simple they may be.
Face to face
Right?
interaction among each other,
Yes.
building
Say
connections.
instead of say going on with mobile, reading a book say every week or every 2 weeks, if a student is encouraged to finish a book,
Mm.
that will create a more say it will create a better habit. So, recent interaction with an ophthalmologist, I got to know certain things that this constant screen time is causing to the eyes. So, what happens is our eyes blink. So, when we are constantly viewing our screen, our eyes do not blink. So, students and this young people are constantly having complaints of the dry eyes, irritation in
Interesting.
the
Yeah,
eyes, not.
very, yeah,
Yes.
very good information
So,
is it is. Yes,
yes,
yes.
so it doesn't blink. So the blinking keeps our eyes moist. It keeps our eyes moist.
Right,
So
right, right.
indirectly, no matter whatever I am doing, this now this have this blue ray filter and all. Even if I am having prolonged say this thing, so even eyes are having problem. Where people are having difficulty to sleep. People say having many young people now are having problem to sleep. They are not being able to sleep. They can't wake up on time. So this entire thing has literally kicked them out of everything. So so this is actually a problem which needs to be dealt with more seriousness than it is being actually dealt with.
True, true.
So what happens is in a country like India, we have a huge number of people. We have huge number of students to deal with. Unfortunately, in many most of the institutions, nobody is in a position to one-to-one mentoring, one-to-one understanding of the requirements of the students. So this problem will, I believe, escalate more. And when you come for this automation, uh, this is something which is also connected to this. If I go with psychologically, a student or a child who is used to only 15 seconds of attention on the reel will always expect his work to be done in 15 seconds
Yeah,
at the same
they're
time.
they're being affected by that intolerance kind of thing because of that thing. I'm just coming back with another
Yeah.
question. Okay, so initially you were talking about like choosing a career, and people are mostly like going towards software or IT industry. Even I have when I interacted with few students from IIT also, like although they are from mechanical or electrical, but they are still preparing themselves for some big sort IT companies like Microsoft, Google. So although I know ki they're mostly thinking about the salary package, and usually they talk about salary package, which students has got how much package and all those things. So, what do you think? Like for any people who are not from CSE and do you think this is the right decision for them to opt their career only based on money?
This is a very important and vital question, that whether to choose a career only on the basis of money. So, if I go with this, there are two aspects, two sides I would like to bring your notice. First is this no, say non-core students, so civil, mechanical, electrical, or electronics, they're opting for computer science. Not really any harm if they're opting for this, because now there's a lot of interdisciplinary activities which are going on.
Yes,
Possibly,
yes.
an electrical engineer can be very valuable for an electrical distribution company who is building a software to automate the process. That's not really a problem. The problem is why are they choosing?
Yeah.
So if it's only for the sake that there is money into it, then it might not turn out to be a very viable issue after a few years. So initial experimentation in most cases goes very smooth. So it happens, you experiment with your job, you try out doing things, but gradually in a country like India, we have got responsibilities coming in. We are not as free as human beings as the West. So our decisions land up as being very unhappy people in the say in the long run. So I believe the non-course students, when they are choosing a career in computer science, must think 10 times before making the decision, not thinking that's 5 years in the long run, but 10 years or 15 years down the line. So that decision is very important.
Yeah, again,
So
I'm thinking the point you have mentioned earlier, goal, purpose, why I'm choosing this thing only comes
yes.
at the very well, initial stage of choosing whether I will I will opt for software career or I'll go with something else.
Right, right, right. So it all depends on the mindset and the goal setting. So if somebody is having an goal setting that okay, I'll work for till the age of 40, I'll print cash, whatever it takes, I'll just go for the money. Then it's fine, no issues. So they that's the definitive goal. Money is required, but whether only money is the motivator, that has to be clear. So for anybody who thinks, okay, my money is my only motivator, so that is only what I have to got in my career, fair enough, no issues. But for them who just think, okay, I need a job, I need to land up somewhere. So whether I'm going for electrical engineering and then I'm moving to software or whatever, this decision has to be taken much prior. The decision has to be taken probably during the choice of selection of the course itself, so that in 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line you can still say that okay, I am fit for the industry. So I'm seeing many of my friends who are there in the industry now, they are not interesting anymore, they're not liking it anymore, because I told them, why, what happened, you have been through this. I got it from the placement drive. They allowed all stream. I have a friend
Yes.
who is a civil engineer now working for TCS.
Hmm.
Okay. I used to joke with him, like, why do I need to go with the civil and civil then if you want to work software? He said, see, I got in the placement. My placement drive pushed me into it. I appeared. My stars were good. I got through. So I
Yeah,
had a
that is
job to do
true.
in hand.
For so many people, during my engineering days as well, I have seen people like as I've got in IBM during placement, so I'm joining. So I will not think about in any of my core companies or something.
So that is the case with many. But now, after around 10 or 12 years into the industry, or 15 years into the industry, they are feeling a crunch that they don't really like these things, because now they don't have to code even. They have to work on Excel sheets. That is all they have to do the whole day. So they are now into management responsibilities. So it has become a trap for them that they cannot go out. They have got a family to sustain. So they don't have a choice of leaving and going off. So this decision, this goal setting is very, very important. And this is where, and another thing, Mr. Shaw, like I understand that in India, uh, counseling, psychological counseling is still has a stigma that people who are should be going for counseling. But I
Yes, very
think,
true.
but
As a
I think,
counselor, as a psychologist, I have seen that thing. I've faced,
yes,
I have experienced that.
right. So I think how the generation is going, how the time is now,
Mm-hmm.
every one of us
Mm.
should be at least going for a counseling session once a year, just to get yourself clarity of
Right,
what exactly I am heading towards.
right.
Specifically, I have been mentioning in the very first that COVID and post COVID, the change in the world post COVID, the uncertainty that COVID has brought into the world requires people to adapt to it. And
Mm.
counseling can be a very, very helpful action that people can actually resort into to get their things clear.
True.
Because this uncertainty, distraction, technology, innovation, I would say, innovation of technology. So at the cost of mental health is a reality now.
True.
So the technology is growing at the cost of people's mental health. So it's a reality. So
True.
if a country like India, which has a very large young population, we want to say cope up with this in a healthy manner. So we 5,000 years back, we had guidelines of how to lead a healthy life. So when nobody in the world had it, we had that guideline that how to live a healthy life, what are the best practices that you can do to have a healthy life, to
The
lead a
mind is
healthy life.
important for that. Healthy mind
Yes.
is really, really very important.
Enough, we don't want to take those guidelines even, and we don't want to say adapt ourselves with the new guidelines.
Right.
But counseling is something I would really, if you ask me that what suggestion would you give to make things a little better. So one, my suggestion will be at least for once a year, young people's positively should go to counsel,
True.
so that they can talk to somebody without being judged,
Mm.
and something they might have some clarity out of the thing, because this is affecting in every aspect of the life.
Yes, yes. I have seen.
Unfortunately, the technology has changed, it is changing, it's upgrading, but our human biology, our brain, that still remains the same.
Yeah.
So
I've seen people are confused at the age of 20, 21, 22 when they are
yes,
actually in the urge of taking or making a very important decisions in their life as a career.
yes.
Yeah,
So
I've seen.
choice of the career is one of the very important decisions that you take, and the risk associated with the same is also something which you take, and you can only take if you like something. So risk is directly linked to your liking. So if you are say planning a change of your career, if you want to take a risk, it also has to have clarity. And I believe psychologists can be of great help in this time, so that they can address issues that possibly even parents cannot.
Yes, I have seen these changes with my clients when I work with them. Sometimes they are not really able or being accepted by their parents with their challenges or problem they are having. But still, the problem is problem, and that is hampering their mental health. And
Yes.
after several or 2 3 sessions of counseling, and they have cured from themselves. They already have that potential. Just our role is to showcase them ki you have that potential, you are that, and you have the solution for that thing. That thing is very important. So
So
lastly,
in this,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, please.
this NEP 2020, this new education policy.
uh,
One thing I liked about it, though I do not agree with everything which is there, one very good thing they have done, at least tried to do, is to incorporate the Indian value system or the Indian education system as a part of NEP. Because what I understand is we had this Gurukul system. So that one thing is actually a treasure that basically we have undermined, we have ignored.
I completely agreed
Now,
that thing. I just recently attended one session on NEP 2020. So I completely agree. Yes, that Gurukul system.
that system where you would basically be mentored
Yes.
to have the best practices. So that gives you an alignment. So I was just trying to, a few days back, I was just trying to map the Gurukul system of what we had to the education system that we have now. I was trying to make a mapping. So I found how relevant it was, that everything that say a rishi or a guru used to do with his disciples was to orient them and to profile them. What I told you in the what
Only
I was
because
telling in the
which I personally feel, only because during these ages of a person's life, they are not exposed to relevant information which will help them
right,
to
right,
save their life. Only that time,
right,
and because one thing I can remember, one of my mentor told me once कि देखो sometimes you have to take that mentoring just because you don't have enough informations or you may not have enough information to take any kind of particular decision. So you have to have
right.
some mentor in your life. Have to have.
Right. It is very true. It is very true. You need somebody to actually show you the way.
Yes.
That path is very important. And those
Yes.
who are we are in the education sector must at least work towards that, that we can at least,
Yes. Yes.
even
Completely agree.
everybody may not be a perfect teacher, but at least teachers should try to be perfect mentors. That
Yes.
they should at least be able to orient the students towards He's liking and
Mm,
something that will create a more sustainable life for him or
mm,
her.
mm, mm.
So
Strong
that is
point.
a bigger responsibility.
True.
So this is how basically the things would go. And automation is there to stay. So it will be there for next at least 15, 20 years till it comes to a block. So like all technology, it will also come to a block at some point of time when over automation possibly we will see it is no longer needed. So I remember this Albert Einstein was once asked that how do you perceive that about the Third World War? So Einstein told that I don't know how the Third World War will be there, but I know that the Fourth World War will be still again be fought with swords and stakes only. Okay, so this is what he told. So it is very relevant in the fact that okay, everything say chokes at after a certain point of
Right.
time. At this point, at least for the next 15 years, at least this automation is going to take up. It is
Mm,
going to invade every, say, segment of the human life, starting from education and all. Like in many places, I remember a few days back, I was seeing a video on YouTube. Like it was a marketing video of a company which is promoting, say, robotic teachers. Like teachers, robots would go in, teach, and come back. So I'm understanding that how this invasion is basically being planned, how gradually it will do. It will appear very lucrative to many, so many organizations also. But after 15 years or 20 years, maybe this AI will also choke. It
mm.
will not demolish or it will not go off, but it will be restricted to only places where it will be relevant. So next 15, 20 years is a challenging time for us. So we have to understand that children who are born now, in 15 years or 16 years, when like they will be going for their education and all, we have to be as parents, as teachers, as mentors, as say co-livers in the society itself. We need to sensitize ourselves with the fact that we need to safeguard certain things so that things don't get destroyed. So
That's so insightful. Yes, true.
and
Lastly, what is
I
that?
yeah.
Yeah, please.
So I will never say that technology is not required. And being a technical person, I will never say that.
No,
I
I
still
I personally believe technology is a very good servant, but it's a very
yes.
terrific master.
Yes. So, like for small things, small problems, I still prefer writing a code and get it done by the computer rather than doing it myself. So, I would never say technology or automation is a problem, but it has to be understood where we should be using it and where we should not, even if there is a scope. So it's same like human relationships. We have problems. Um, every relationship might have a problem, but even if there is a choice that we want to be there or not, so that decision for the capability of taking that decision of what to use, where to be, and where not to be is something that is very much required. And that is one reason why I was reiterating on the fact that we should at least once a year make sure that we go to a counselor, we talk
I think
and
that
get
is a
that
very good
clarity.
and important message for all of you who are watching this video right now, and for all the young generation, young people. Yes, little choices, small decisions actually make a big difference in our life.
Right.
Big difference. So, Dr. Roy, thank you so much for joining us. And as a friend, as a mentor to me, as a colleague, I always have found your different perspectives in different thing. And today also, this was so insightful and so helpful. I think it will be so helpful for people, those who will watch this video, and especially students or young peoples of our country, or anyone who will watch this thing. So thank you so much. So someday I think hope we will talk on some different thing, different topic.
No, yes, surely, and I will thank you too for giving me this opportunity to at least say, vent out my perception, which I've
Yes.
say, gathered for this last 4 years, 5 years, preferably. and I'll be very happy if whatever we discussed becomes handy for the young generation and the students. So I have always been very keen on giving progress to my students. So students has been a priority always. So not from day one, like it was
Yes, yes,
always been
I have
so.
seen your dedication. I have
So
seen your, in fact, I have seen as a colleague when you have worked, I have seen your popularity among students and the way you mentored the people, the students. I've seen it. Yes,
so I wish things are helpful. Then only it
yes, right.
will surely meet sometime again.
Sure,
And
sure.
all the best for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.